am Professor Zahoor, ex-Dean Faculty of Fine Arts, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. In this module, I will teach you how to use pencils. It is a basic medium used for drawing, just like charcoal. It gives us lot of flexibility when we draw. It has different qualities: soft, hard, extra soft. I usually use 8B pencils when I draw a landscape. 8B pencil gives you more depth, thickness, it gives you volume and is very easy to use. So you can create a simple tone, light tone, dark tone or any other effect with 8B. With the stress on our hand, one can create a soft line, hard line and thick line too, just by using one pencil. One should try to use thick pencils like 6B or 8B or 10B in creating an indoor or outdoor landscape. Scribbling is very important factor while working with pencil. One can create the effects from light to dark by scribbles. The more one scribbles, the more will be the tremendous outcome of varied depths and effects. Movement of vertical strokes going horizontally helps in creating distance in drawing. The closely parts are darker and the far away ones go light. All depends on the stress one puts over the pencil. Gradation in lines can show light and shade. The trees and the bushes look most interesting in the haphazard strokes. No concrete shape adds to the spontaneity and the playful correct. It is not important in drawing a landscape to bring out each and every detail of what one is looking at. The texture of the paper and the darkness and lightness of the strokes can help in create my right gradations and perspectives. In the foreground, one needs to put hard and dark scribbles, which keep on getting softer and lighter as it reaches the background. The oblique lines over the foliage of the tree can differentiate it from the area in front with vertical scribbles. At certain areas where both the lines meet, one can mix them and create a blurred depth also. One has to build up the space. Unlike charcoal, pencil takes longer in spreading across the surface. A few strokes can though bring out the space between and the basic structure. While making a drawing with depth, one has to keep in mind three tonal variations: the light white, the middle tone grey, and the darkest black. By using these variations, one can easily create a three-dimensional effect on the two-dimensional surface. Darker are trees, more heavy and dense it appears to the vision. One can easily make out which things are placed in the front and the ones which are moving away in the background. Now among the oblique and vertical scribbles, add a few horizontal lines to add another space division which is clearly indicating the path in the field. The vision has started traveling from the foreground to the background. One needs to train the hand to move in any direction, and that needs practice. The wrist should be flexible enough to move the pencil in the desired direction. With the darkness prevailing on the drawing surface, one can easily guess the light source in from left side. So one needs to keep the soft side of a hut lighter than the right side. Keep on darkening the bushes and the hut will get cocooned in the depth. Just by scribbling only, one can create an illusion of window and door in the hut. There are no clear lines to shape up the hut or the thatched roof. Scribbles are adding beauty to the abstraction. There is no outline, yet one can make out the basic structure. Structure. Start darkening the area behind the trunk of a tree. Using the pencil flat can cover up a wider area by applying flat strokes. More you keep on filling the area, the more dark it will appear. One can darken a few strokes and give the impression of the branches of a tree too. Vic Muniz rightly says that drawing is not only a way to come up with pictures. Drawing is a way to educate your eye to understand visual information, organizing it into a more hierarchical way, a more economical way. When you see something, if you draw often and frequently, you examine a room very differently. The whole essence of a drawing comes out in its simplicity and the effect being created in it. The vigorous strokes speaks for themselves. One can see the variations in the strokes and the dealing of an artist to create different thing differently. Lines and scribbles are the same, but the placement has varied. Somewhere it's just oblique, somewhere vertical, somewhere horizontal, and at the other place, mixture of all. John Berger says, drawing is a way of coming upon the connection between things, just like metaphor and poetry reconnects what has become separated. It doesn't take much for a new form to appear from the chaos of scribbles. Just like another hut cropping up from under the foliage. It's creating its own equation in the landscape and its elements. Time to darken the crops in front of the hut on the right side of drawing and push it more in the space. A few scribbles behind the foliage bring out another dimension of more growth in the distance. One can see no hard and fast rule being used in the drawing. Yet there is a feeling of rhythm and balance. The dark is going darker and grey is being added to the white. The slanting lines will indicate the sky, and a little doodle can give the impression of the clouds. The focus is still on the white on paper. The focus is still on the white of the paper being exposed in the center of the drawing among all the scribbles. It's indicating the source of light. The tangled bushes, the chaotic arrangement of the leaves, intermingled trees, and the play of chiaroscuro and the flow of wind can easily be depicted by the variety of lines. One can imagine a contrast and make out a difference between the solidity of a hut or building and the unruly character of the nature and its elements just by the application of numerous kind of textures and effects created by scribbles. Calmness of the atmosphere or any mood of the day can be captured by placing lines in different directions by intermingling them rhythmically. A vertical line supported by two horizontal tops can imply an electric pole in front of the hut, with its base last in the field at its foot. The swing of the curved line can indicate the electrical wires getting dull in the distance. The darkened part is helping in bringing out a bush ahead of the other and also forming a groove of a vertical crops at a distance. When one tries to finally analyze a drawing, it's simply no longer a drawing but has gained a symbolic character from all its abstraction. It becomes a way or a source of educate one's eye to adapt the visual information to look at the known thing in a totally unknown or different perspective. A new dimension adds an extraordinary flavor to a general scene. Very aptly, Paul Klee said, the more profoundly the imaginary lines of projection meet higher dimensions, the better. Pencil, in blend with the spirit of an artist, leads the way to the final stage of a drawing. The inner feelings are reflected in the scribbles and strokes, guiding one's eye into an imaginary world. The expertise and trained eye of an artist guides him which part to submerge and which to highlight or emphasize to bring them forward. One needs to be a master of the line to mold it as per the desire of the spirit. Mark Davis said, drawing is giving a performance. An artist is an actor who is not limited by the body, only by his ability and perhaps experience. The expression and dealing of the medium of every artist may differ, just as their feelings, imagination, and inspirations. An artist may play as he likes with his strokes, scribble, overlap the areas and lines, and bring out characters with originality as per his vision. One can even use eraser to wipe off certain areas to show sharp contrast or reflection of light. One can erase or rub off the roof of hut to show the direction of source of light. Draw a few lines on the path and some portions in the sky. This helps in leading the vision to the focal point. Paul Klee said, it is possible that a picture will move far away from nature and yet find its way back to reality. The faculty of memory, experience at a distance produces pictorial associations. Drawing is just a way of articulation of a concept, idea, feelings, and imagination. One can envision the rigorous strokes or scribbles full of the intellectual dimension of an artist's mind too. An artist's soul is never satisfied. Till the end, he wants to keep on touching and retouching his work of art. A few scribbles, a few more rubbing strokes, and changing the focus by diffusing a particular area and highlighting the other. The main motive is the artist is to not let go the vision, disarray or out of the frame. somehow, by his technique or chiaroscuro, he has to emphasize to pull the vision inwards. Keeping in mind the direction of wind and the light falling on the objects in the drawing. Like John Constable says, the sky is the source of light in nature and governs everything. Even our common observation on the weather of the everyday are suggested by them, but it does not occur to us. By its final stage, the drawing remains no longer a drawing. It reaches the state of condensation of sensation, a reconstruction of reality through the guidelines of imagination, and gets converted into a work of an artist's mind. Ernst Kirchner said, "It seems as though the goal of my work has always been to dissolve myself completely into the sensation of the surroundings, in order to then integrate this into coherent painterly form." The compositional formations keep the eye within the frame and create an interest, making the eye roam around the myriad angles and objects represented. One should try to experiment and practice drawing various kinds of lines. Then only a mind gets trained to use a particular kind of line or lines to depict certain effect or object. Broken lines of same size, different sizes, flat strokes, or with the tip of the pencils all lead to and helps in mental calculation of sizes. After the horizontal strokes, try placing vertical lines side by side with different variations in application style, thickness, and heights. Drawing helps in making an artist a visualizer. These days, an artist is becoming too much dependent on computers for all the small things too. and has gone weak in drawing a concept on a paper. He has become technical expert, and in other words, a computer operator. If a person is a good artist and has command over his pencil and brush, he can even visualize more creatively by blending his talent of drawing with the effects on computer. But if he is a weak artist, he can just become a guide to a hired person. In my study time, there was no computer. Everything was created by hand. Now one can combine both computer and handwork. Having computer facility does not mean one should stop to paint, work, or to draw. Practice of scribbling and doodling grants freedom to the hand. One need not be scared or hesitate to roll the wrist in any direction. All this lends spontaneity and rhythm to a drawing. The pencil is held from its tip only when one needs to bring out any details in the drawing. Otherwise, holding the pencil from far end gives it a free movement. In details, just the hand is involved, but in free flowing strokes, the whole arm is being used. Try making quick strokes, light to dark and dark to light gradations with pencil. One should train oneself and try to explore all possibilities. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, "The world of reality has its limits. The world of imagination is boundless." Vision changes and one starts to look at things in different perspectives of chiaroscuro, reflections, movements, forms, scribbles, etc. Darkened areas support the light part and vice versa. One's mind gets trained enough to visualize forms even in abstraction. The useless scribbles find an aesthetic meaning. It is very crucial to study the play of lines. One can bring out anything out of this experiment too. One can create images, try searching for hidden forms, and give a new meaning to a newly found shapes. Try filling certain confined areas and form new patterns and designs. Try catching the visual information in the primary or elementary sketches. This can happen only with everyday practice of trees, human figures, or whatever fascinates a person, even domestic utensils.